Always a process, Jim. Always a process. How are you, man?
Good. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine. It's good to see you, man. It's actually been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. I tried not to bug you too much.
Oh, it's not a bug, man. You know that.
You know, it's funny you were talking about that. In my family, we never, like my father talked about being in the World War II, in the Navy and all that, but we never talked about service. And when I was growing up, I had the Marine Corps posters on the wall and all that stuff. I couldn't wait to go in. You know, to me, they were the toughest and all that, and I wanted to challenge myself. But my father was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
My older brother was in the Army in Vietnam. Then I went in the Marines, and then my younger brother went in the Marines after me, and none of us had discussed it with each other.
Well, you say that, but honestly, none of my siblings and I talked about it either. We were all living in different places when we decided to go in. My brother was first. I was second. My sister was third. But we never really talked about it. I have to imagine that he drove a bit of that because it was so damn long ago. Jim, I've slept since then, so I couldn't tell you if we actually did. But I don't remember any conversations. That's interesting that you didn't have any either.
Yeah, not one of us talked about it. In fact, my brother specifically would not talk about Vietnam. He never has.
Oh, well, yeah. What was his MOS? Do you know?
No.
Oh, no. Because that's not uncommon at all. If you saw any combat, man, they come back. They don't want to talk about that.
No.
Don't want to talk about it. And who can blame them, right? Even today. Of course, we know a lot more about it. Back in World War I, they call it shell shock. And it was literally just PTSD.
PTSD.
Yeah. They didn't. I don't even think they had a name for it in World War II outside of shell shock. But now,
And, it's funny that you mention that because I'm a paramedic and been one for 28 years. But they took forever to even come up with that. They call it crisis incident stress debriefing.
Huh.
They won't call that. When you see the human body torn apart in different arrangements, we'll just say.
Sure. Yeah, it messes with you for sure.
Not everybody's built for that.
No.
Take that.
No.
But going into the service did something for each and every one of us. I mean, you come out of that and handling life is just something you're saying like, no, I'm not going to take this lying down,
Right.
I can go on.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, compared to today, I don't think you still have. I mean, our Veterans Day here was rained out, our parade. Whereas 20 years ago, you'd have held the parade in the rain and it would have been a point of honor to walk it in the rain.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a shame, man. That is a shame. Times they are changing. Of course, every generation says that. But they are changing.
They really are.
Yeah.
For a fact.
Yep.
I think as we get more and more disassociated, right, with the phones and everybody looking down all the time, not talking to one another.
Mm-hmm.
We all see the people in the street corners begging for money who are homeless.
It's real easy to forget what's important when you're so self-absorbed,
Yeah.
And that I think is the biggest problem. We're all, when you find yourself lost in your phone, that you're not really dealing with the real world, nor do you care much about it. I mean, you may think you do, but you really have to, look at how you interact with other people now. Not us. I'm not talking about us, Jim, because I don't think you and I tend to get locked in our phones like the next generation's coming up. And I don't mean to shit on them either, but
it's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have the quality of cameras and all that. We didn't have the computing power these things have.
No, hell, all our phones had cords on them.
But I don't know that we would have used it. We were used to going out and, being home when the street lights came on.
Yeah. And the kids nowadays, they're growing up with them well before, the technology's been in place well before they were here. It's kind of like saying, if, thinking of growing up without a car for us, right?
Right.
It's almost unimaginable. Yeah. Now they're in that position. And, I would just say to those kids, break away from the screen as often as you possibly can. Unplug, if nothing else, to recharge.
Isn't that funny? Ed says the same thing.
What Ed say?
Ed said my dad never talked about his time in the Navy in World War II either.
Where was that?
There are some people that can handle it and, can handle crisis situations, fight or flight,
mm-hmm.
and but just don't want to talk about it. Can't talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Lloyd. And Lloyd's coming up, so I'll be able to thank him again. But
yeah, Lloyd mentioned you on his show, as he often does. We all try and do that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
And we're glad to see that you're growing.
Yeah, it's always fun to see. I'm just happy doing this,
I always have this flag in the background, and it's usually furled.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's torn and tattered, much like myself, over these 60 years, They haven't
It's a big
been
club,
easy.
man. It's a big club.
Yeah.
Where's that? Is that just a standard flag you had hanging out front or something?
Standard flag. I've had it forever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's threadbare.
Yep. But I can't throw it out, and I won't burn it.
Oh, I hear you. Well, you can give it a proper barrel. Take care of it. To this day, Jim, you were talking about what the military instills in you. To this day, I can't even stand to see those little handheld flags hit the ground.
Yeah.
Is that weird? I can't. Time changed for me when I went in and as I went through. It's so much more important now. And really, my thoughts is that if I'm not on time, I'm actually screwing with somebody else's time, and that bothers the hell out of me.
Well, that's why I go late to doctor's appointments.
Because they're not going to be on time.
No, because they don't respect me.
I know, man. Have I ever told you that story about when I worked in a hospital?
No.
It was in IT, so I didn't have to. I don't like hospitals, but it was nothing in a medical capacity outside of doing IT for the hospital. And we used to have meetings all the time. And I tell you, it never failed that anytime a doctor was invited to that meeting, and they had to be in a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
We'd sit and talk for 20 minutes before they showed up. And it used to drive me nuts, man. I mean, nuts.
They're used to being princes of the caucus, I guess. I don't know.
Well, there's got to be a class in that. How to be late for every appointment. 101,
And you're lucky you get your 15 minutes squeezed in with them,
Oh, yeah, because they're always in a hurry. Probably because they're late for everything. I don't know.
Back to the service. I don't think you see that you definitely didn't out of the World War II crowd, and you didn't. I don't know. I think the whole respect. I went to Dunkin' Donuts, got coffee today, and it had a Christmas cup. I mean, we throw away our holidays now like it's nothing. It's just on to the next one for a retail sale.
Yeah.
And it just kind of pissed me off that Veterans Day was rained out.
Yeah.
Not at the VFW, but at the parade that was only going to be 10 blocks anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The respect is just not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of surface respect, and I don't mean to at all disparage those folks that are thanking us, but there are still some people who have a problem with the military, pay it lip service, and a lot of them make decisions in City Hall. So I'm guessing that that is responsible for a lot of the softening up. Like, right, you said that Back in the day, you'd have it in the rain. You'd have it in the snow. Be a badge of honor.
We did.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, it's a little chilly out. No. Oh, well, man, it's up to us to keep that torch lit.
Well, I try and teach my granddaughter, who's only 11, and I get grief from my wife or her mother, you know, things like 9/11, the things you don't hear. I try and tell her, you know, people jumped from this building. This is not just, oh, it's 9/11 day, let's remember that. Didn't we talk about that? The pictures that you'll never see anymore?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They need to be seen. Vietnam was a 10,000 day, 58,000 people dead war.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Come on, man.
I know. I'm in your camp, man. I am so in your camp. Have you? You're up. Well, you were up there. Did you ever get to go to the memorial
in D.C.?
No, in New York, where the Twin Towers sat. Yeah. Now they still have some of that footage. Of course, none of it's close up, but they still have a lot of that footage that they play on a loop, which I found extraordinary. And I think everyone should visit that if they ever get a chance. If nothing else.
You have to be reminded that people are growing up and they're being taught to hate you.
Yes.
Doesn't matter who you are. You know, because these kids, they grow up and, you know, they're playing with dolls and all that, as a girl should. Mm-hmm. They should have that time. But you also need to, look, not everybody's nice. I mean, you know how I come off. So perhaps I'm too abrupt.
Well, there's a certain amount of charm in being abrupt. I mean, I hate people that pussyfoot around an issue, honestly. So no, I respect that, Jim. But I'm gonna. But I have to get 2 more guests in before we close this out, man. Jim.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for your service, bud, and your family as well. And wait a minute. I swear to God, I'm going to throw this friggin' monitor through the window.
What's it doing?
Blanking out. I mean, it literally just goes black. It's less than a year old. I got to send it back.
Wow.
Okay, there we go. God damn it. It pisses me off. Okay. But yeah, again, Jim, thanks for your service, man. And thanks for coming up and sharing. And stay blunt, man.
I will. Well, I know Lloyd's coming up next. Thank you, Lloyd, for your service. And good night, Jim. Thank you for yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you.